Go Blue, everybody. It's time for signing day storylines, and we take your calls here on Michigan Wolverines Live. And thanks for joining me here at Michigan Wolverines Live, episode 123. It's easy as, right? My name is John D'Adamo, and I'm going to be your host for the next hour or so. You can find me on Twitter at John D'Adamo. I host this show. I host Big Ten Live, the Ocho. When there's games, I host the post-game show. So there's a lot of me going around. You're going to get a break next week for Christmas, but Mark Rogers, voice of college football, will still be doing a Christmas show for Big Ten Live, so we're excited about that. Just a reminder before we get started, please like, subscribe, and share with a friend. Just hit that button, get those likes going. Subscribe to Michigan Football, the voice of college football, and of course, share with a friend. I'm going to put the link down here after we run through some topics. I'm going to take one or two calls before we wrap on the show. So we have some stuff to talk about. We actually do. So, and obviously last week it was all Alabama. So if you want to hear about the game that we're about to have with the Alabama Crimson Tide in full detail, offense, defense, keys to the game, everything, so last Tuesday we did the Alabama panel with Tide Guy, Jackson Johnson, and Jeffrey. Go back there and they'll give you all the skinny on that. But we're going to start with talking about the fact that we have National Signing Day coming up, and Michigan's recruiting class does have 26 recruits poised to sign. And of course, one of the things that people like to say is, well, where's the 5 stars? Well, despite not having any 5 stars, Michigan still has the 16th composite rank and 26 hard commits, including offensive tackle Andrew Sprague, who is from Kansas City. Of course, everybody was talking about Jaden Davis coming in, and he obviously just won another championship at Providence Day. 93 ranked, 4 stars, and then it just goes from there. Jordan Marshall, Hogan Hansen. I'm not going to go through each and every one, but you can see here, I feel that Michigan has done a very good job of building this class up. Channing Goodwin's one to watch because he's coming in with Jaden Davis. So these are the commits that are poised to sign and make it official on the line that is dotted tomorrow. So with all that said, there are some storylines that are happening in terms of what is the next step. So the first one is about this guy, Gatlin Bair, who we've been hearing about, obviously decommitted from Boise. And apparently Colston Loveland has been working on him, fellow Idaho native. Maybe they're trading potatoes. I don't know what they're doing, but apparently he is possible. So I think that's somebody to watch and keep in mind. Gatlin Bair. He would be not coming in officially until 2026, as we know, because he is taking a 2-year mission trip. But it's still something worth looking at. He is also looking at Oregon. So he may go either way. Also, I'm going to butcher this, but Lugard Edok Pai. I definitely messed that up. 4-star edge, also uncommitted, and Michigan is going after him. So that's obviously the edge position is one that Jesse Minter's defense really likes to have. A lot of kind of a systematic defense. So he wants a lot of players, and that way people can rise to the top. So those are two of them. The latter of the two just picked up an offer before Thanksgiving and made an official visit last week and there was an in-home visit, and we all know that Harbaugh really likes his in-home visits, and so that's obviously something worth looking at. But I think that what some of these recruits may be looking at and considering in their decision is, will they or won't they? It's time, folks, to talk about it. And yes, we could use his speed. Channing Goodwin's very fast too. Sorry to hear you're cold. Florida is actually unseasonably cold at the moment, so you wouldn't benefit too much. Normally, I'd invite you down here, but there you go. We got Moose here. Thank you, everybody, for coming by. So we did an entire show on this topic months ago called The Last Dance. Some people agreed with it, some people didn't. Some people said, what are you talking about? Harbaugh's going to stay forever. So I'm not going to rehash all of the reasons, which I believe are all still valid, on why Harbaugh may leave. What we do know is that JJ McCarthy had told Jim Harbaugh just the other day. Harbaugh had said, "Hey, do you want to talk about your future during the break coming up?" And JJ said, "No, no, coach. I am laser focused on Alabama." That's what he said. I am laser focused on Alabama. But it is a real question, and it's one that we have continued with respect to Harbaugh to ask. And have we seen little nuggets that Harbaugh might stay? Yeah, like for example, on the senior night awards when he said, anybody, I hope some of you guys will be staying for 2024. I think that might have been a little tip of the cap that he might be staying. But on the other hand, the Chargers job is open. The Raiders job is open. The Bears job is open. Washington's job is probably going to be open. The Jets might be open. You're looking at 3 to 5 jobs, and every single one of them is going to have Jim Harbaugh as one of their first calls. The alleged $11 million a year contract for Jim Harbaugh also is accompanied by a promise to not interview for the NFL this year. But I think he's going to want to pursue his options. So my guess is this will probably go on like it has the last 2 years, through the holidays, through January, and he's going to field his NFL offers, because honestly, that's what I would do if I were him. Why on earth, when you are going to be one of the most highly sought after coaches in this NFL job cycle, why on earth would you lock yourself down without at least hearing what Mark Davis might have to say? Why don't without hearing what the Chargers might have to say? I mean, what coach wouldn't at least consider having Justin Herbert as your quarterback? It has to at least be considered. The Chargers had a catastrophic wipeout the other day, and they fired their coach. Staley should have probably been fired a while back. He, I think, has been wasting one of the generational quarterback talents of our day. And somebody's going to need to come in there and really instill a sense of discipline and instill a sense of culture. And Harbaugh's going to be given a phone call. And so if he shuts down his NFL recruiting right away, without at least seeing what offers might be out there and what control that they might be willing to give him, I think he's doing himself a disservice. So I think, Michigan isn't going to just be like, oh, well, you're going to talk to the NFL, so you're going to be fired. Like, of course not. Harbaugh knows that Michigan has no leverage in this situation, none. This is a coach who's won 3 back-to-back Big Ten championships, 3 back-to-back Ohio State victories. So the answer is, I think Harbaugh's going to look at his NFL offers, and could he stay at Michigan? Yeah, it's very possible. JJ McCarthy, I don't know. I think the two are kind of going to go together or stay together. If Harbaugh decides to leave, I don't know if JJ is staying. I think he's been projected to go potentially first round. Scouts really like him. They like his intangibles. They like what he can do on the field. He's going to get some. He's going to get drafted, and so it's really it's determinant of what happens here. And I think part of it's if they win the playoff game, if they win the national championship, that may play a role. Speaking of JJ, he did reportedly play hurt during Penn State, Maryland, and Ohio State. So people who have been giving the narrative of, oh, well, you guys were sign stealing. So, JJ doesn't look so good now. Well, actually, he was injured. And so what we found out this past week is that he actually played hurt during these 3 games. Reportedly now feels 100%. Iowa, I'm assuming, is part of this too. And so it was probably that game as well. So the fact is Michigan still did what it needed to do against Iowa. But clearly things seemed a little off at the quarterback position the last few games. And it's because JJ's been playing injured. And that's why Alex Orji's been in the packages as the running quarterback. So it's good to hear that for this major playoff game, which has ramifications of, could Harbaugh or JJ stay? It has ramifications of like, can they finally get over the hump in terms of beating a playoff opponent? And you need JJ at his best. And thank you for that, Dependent Fanatic. Please like the video. It helps others find us. We appreciate that. Please do like it. Just takes a second. You're crazy if you think no NFL team is interested in Jim. Moose is right. I think it's very possible that we have at least 2 or 3 NFL teams that give him a call. And thank you, Dependent Fanatic. Yep, please like the video. Let's see. Yeah, and look, I thought he might go in the video I did, but we'll see. We'll see what the teams offer him. But he should look at his options, and yeah, he does have a lot invested here. He has obviously a great life here, or a great life in Ann Arbor. Let's see. Right. So Moose is reminding us to check out the merch store, Michigan Football, the voice of college football. There's actually brand new merch, so I definitely recommend everybody check it out. There's actually more Michigan merch now. There's a Michigan football pet bowl. So not only is there a pet bowl for the voice of college football, but there's also one for Michigan, which is great. There's lots of good stuff over here. So I'm going to go ahead and post that, and feel free. Actually, I just posted the StreamYard link, which is also something I recommend if you'd like to give us a call in a little bit here. We're going to take a few calls. It's just me riding solo tonight, so take a few calls. We're not going to do a panel, but if somebody wants to call and give their take, we'll definitely talk to them. Ed Rogers, always with some great commentary, 5-star commentary from the Buckeye side of things. Where's that contact we were promised? I'm thinking you meant contract. And the answer is it's alleged to be pretty much close to done, but Harbaugh wants to probably weigh his options in the NFL. Apparently it's $55 million, $11 million a year. We don't know about the buyout, but we do know that much, which would make him the highest paid Big Ten coach, which he deserves after winning 3 straight Big Ten championships and beating Ohio State 3 straight times. He deserves to be paid that. The NFL is looking for younger coaches. They will call and he will get an interview. So we've heard this from Let's Toast Media. We've heard this from some others. Why on earth would you not want somebody who almost basically took the 49ers, which were dumpster fire, rebuild the program? First year, they're contending for a championship. They get to a Super Bowl, and they're within one play of winning a Super Bowl. And he's killed it at every other stop in college. And he's one of the few coaches that has killed it in college and killed it in the NFL. So of course they're going to call him. Why wouldn't they? And yeah, is Andy Reid young? Is Pete Carroll young? Is Bill Belichick? I mean, maybe that's not the best example because he's in trouble apparently, but Bill Belichick did win 6 Super Bowls, so that's something worth mentioning. So I don't know about that. Is Sean Payton young? You know, Doug Peterson. I mean, we could just keep going. Orgy needs to throw a pass while faking the run. I agree, Mike. I think that that's exactly what he should do. And of course, please consider either becoming a Patreon member or a YouTube member here at the Voice of College Football. Go to patreon.com/MarkRogersTV or join as a YouTube member. There have been some discussions from anonymous coaches about Michigan. And you know, if you go to our good friend Isaiah Hole, he has talked about a lot of them on his recent episode of Locked On Wolverines. But you know, a couple of things that they've mentioned is like the fact that they are different now. So he's mentioning this one Big Ten head coach is mentioning Connor Stallions. You know, it makes a huge difference to know when blitzes are coming. They after Connor Stallions, they weren't always at the right place at the right time. Other defensive analysts said that O-line looks pretty. They're like 3 deep of pretty guys, but you watch the film and Indiana stuffed them. They're not moving off the ball like you'd think. A Big Ten head coach said, I think Alabama will give them trouble with their front. But one of the Big Ten head coaches said they're big and sound fundamentally and disciplined. They'll check Alabama's oil. I wonder if that was PJ Fleck. You know, because PJ Fleck was somebody who's always been very like complimentary of Michigan. Like he understands that Michigan's been beating him. There was also one about Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards kind of falling off a bit. Blake Corum not quite what he used to be, and other things like that. I'm not going to go into all of them. Isaiah Holt did a much better job than I'm going to try to do. But what I can tell you is that this is primarily sour grapes because what's Michigan's record again? Chat, can you help me out? What's Michigan's record in the Big Ten this year? It's a lot. Okay, so 13-0, including the preseason, the first couple of games. 9-0 if you exclude the non-con. Thank you, Dependent Fanatic. So, I mean, it's hard to take these types of approaches carefully or like consider them when it's from coaches that lost to Michigan. It would be 10-0 if you include the Big Ten title. Thank you, Dependent Fanatic. Yeah, because you got 3 preseason games, you've got 9 conference games, and then you've got the Big Ten championship game, 10-0. 13-0 if you include the non-con. So yeah, I think you got to take it with a grain of salt. Is there some truth to some of it? Yes. Do they need to find ways to get Donovan Edwards moving? Yes. But I just think it's sour grapes, and it's very it's just, you could tell who's like PJ Fleck. You could tell who's you can definitely tell some of these and who they are. They don't have any superstars, but they're strong, and they've got a bunch of really good college players. They've got a really good culture. None of them gives a shit who gets the credit. These guys clearly love playing with each other. They have the chemistry to win a championship. So that sounds like it could be Fleck. It sounds like it could be maybe James Franklin. Ryan Day. Ryan Day, that sounds too nice to be Ryan Day. All right. With all that said, the reality is, folks, that we're at the top, and if you ain't got haters, you ain't popping. And Michigan's popping. Michigan is 13-0. Michigan's in the playoff. It's that simple. So I wouldn't take it with, I would take these quotes and evaluate them for what they are, and then you can, discard. You just remember that these are coaches that lost to Michigan most likely. So there's that. Go Blue, yes. Hey, Megan. All right. So with all that said, this is the link. If you'd like to call the show, feel free. We'll take calls, and then we'll send everybody over to the Oregon Ducks live show. That's going to be, I believe, the next one. For the transfer portal, we haven't had a lot of luck in the transfer portal. There was the possibility of Dante Moore, but he did decide to go to Oregon on the 18th, aka yesterday. So there's that. We did have CJ Stokes transferring out, and Damani Jackson is somebody who Michigan and Alabama are looking at. USC cornerback Damani Jackson. There you go. Independent Fanatic giving you a go Blue. All right. So call the show. Otherwise, we're going to have a very short show today. Michael Wheatley, you guys will get Jay Sean Barham in the portal from Maryland. I did hear about that. That would be awesome. We'll take, listen, I do have faith in Michigan's coaching staff to look at the talent in the portal and fill any hole that might exist. JJ unbeatable in the Big Ten. Clearly. You could say the Michigan State game, but he wasn't starting in that game. So yeah, every single Big Ten game he was a starter. He's unbeatable. We do have, and I'm very excited about this one, a friend of the program. He has his own YouTube channel, the Dependent Fanatic YouTube channel. We got Dependent Fanatic calling in to Michigan Wolverines live. Hey, buddy. Go Blue.
Go Blue. Hi, John. It's nice to finally talk to you. I've only called into 2 shows ever, and one was Mark Rogers and a Miami spring game. I have a story about that if you want to hear. But for right now, thanks for bringing me on. I really do appreciate it. Go Blue, everybody out there. As you were talking about Michigan and JJ McCarthy, I had a question for you. If he loses in this game, what does that do to his legacy for Michigan in Michigan quarterback lore, because it was Cade McNamara that got the first Big Ten title in a long time for this program, and it preceded JJ to Big Ten championships.
What does that do for his legacy if he loses to a Nick Saban coached Alabama team?
It'll be really
I think
great.
he's still going to be considered one of the best quarterbacks Michigan's had.
Yes.
Does it like add a slight tinge to it? Sure, but I think it's more of an indictment on Harbaugh and I think there's definitely going to be valid criticism of Harbaugh not being able to win postseason games. I think that's the more legit like criticism. JJ has gone. He's lost a grand total of 1 game in his starting career, and if he loses this, it would be 2, and they're both the postseason. That's still really good. Only losing 2 games as a starter. So for me,
yes.
I'd be very happy, and hopefully he stays, but you never know.
And let's just say, he didn't win the Heisman. He wasn't even close with the numbers or whatever. And that's partially JJ's fault, or Harbaugh's fault, like you said, underutilizing his talents. But if he wins the national title, what would his legacy be?
The GOAT.
So it comes down to 1 game versus Alabama for JJ. That is pressure right there.
Well, Alabama and you asked national championship, right? So if he won the national championship, then he would need to beat Alabama and whoever comes out of Texas, Washington. Yeah. If he wins and beats both of those teams, yes, I think he's earned GOAT status as the greatest Michigan quarterback of all time.
Yes. Well, I thought it was possible that maybe Tom Harmon, because he did it way back and he actually won a Heisman and won national and played every position. So, some people will still vote for him. But I would vote for JJ. If he won the national championship in this modern day of college football and won part of 3 Big Ten championships, he is the GOAT, and he has 2,600 passing yards, and probably he's up there.
Yeah. I mean, it's so hard to look at a historical figure like Tom Harmon because the game was so different back then. Literally, the guy had he was like all over the field. Not just quarterback, but I mean, it's harder to list the positions he didn't play than the positions he did. I mean, he played halfback, he played guard, right? Or he played a lot of different.
He played a halfback, quarterback. He played cornerback on defense and linebacker. He kicked field goals. He punted. This guy did
things. So greatest all-around athlete. I might consider him as well as like a Charles Woodson type. But as far as greatest quarterback, I think if JJ wins the Natty, I think it's him.
I agree with you 100%. I do. The team MVP was JJ McCarthy.
Mm-hmm.
It was voted on. Did you see that?
Yep. He won the Bo Schembechler Award. I mean, I'm not super surprised.
I was a little surprised. I imagine that it went something like this: them 2 guys and the whole team were in a room, and JJ or Corum says JJ is the guy, and JJ said no, Corum's the guy. They're such team players, and I think it was a really close vote. JJ says no, you're the guy, and then Corum says you're the guy, and JJ said okay. I'll take it. I can live with being, and plus, the thing is, how does the players vote on that is what I want to know. Because Corum is the guy that's leaving for sure, right? He's gone, and he has been amazing.
He's gone
for this university. He had 24 touchdowns. I know there were a lot of short runs, for touchdowns, but he still had over 1,000 yards and a good average. So it's kind of it's torn, and we're a running team. And I'm torn between who my MVP would be. Who would yours be between those two?
Between JJ and Corum?
Yes.
I don't know. I think they're both deserving. If I had to pick one, I'd pick JJ. But
Okay.
I'd say that's because of like all around what he brings to the table. Mikey Sanders still. I was thinking he might be an interesting third choice.
Absolutely.
Mikey. Yeah. We've got some people saying that Mikey should have gotten some consideration.
But
I would have voted for Mikey. Yep. Zinner's another one.
He went as a man. He's the one first team All-American, right? That we have. So
yeah. So Samaj Morgan got Rookie of the Year, I think very well deserved. And Samaj Morgan, he just broke out and had a great year. Obviously that awesome return in the Big Ten championship game, but throughout the year he's just been really shining. So I think that was probably one of my favorite awards that was handed out was Samaj getting Rookie of the Year. I think it was very well deserved.
As you talk about rookies, what about Jake Moody? He has scored the most points ever as a San Francisco 49er rookie. Already, they still have games.
Yeah, they still could go all the way.
Yeah. He's 18 of 21, 53 straight PATs is the longest streak since the NFL moved the the kick PAT back to the 15-yard line. Longest streak.
Absolutely.
Man.
Jake Money Moody. He was great to watch live. We went to the Illinois game.
I know you were there. Yeah, that had to have been. It was super exciting. You were cold that day.
Yeah, I was really layering up that day. So he's doing great in the NFL, and I'm definitely not like there were some knuckleheads because he missed a couple in like the first game or second game, and people were freaking out over it. And I'm like, guys, give him a minute to settle in.
Wow.
He's gonna do the same thing he did at Michigan, and he'll be the guy. Don't worry about it.
Look at James Turner with his first couple games at Michigan, missed a couple, and now look at him.
Absolutely.
Amazing. Michigan.
We do have another caller, DF, okay. if you don't mind staying on, because Moose said he wanted to talk to not just me, but Moose wanted to talk to you as well.
Hey,
so we have Moose, leader in best, in the house with us. Hey, Moose.
What's up, guys?
How's it going, Moose? It's nice to finally talk to you.
Yeah, what's up, Dependent? How you doing, man?
It's awesome, man. I love it. First call in here.
Are you tired of waiting just like me? I can't wait for this game to start, man.
Yep. Yep. I wish it was played the next week. Really, we would have destroyed.
That's the worst part. That's the worst part of bowls game is having to wait for your team to play. Man, that's the worst part.
Absolutely, yeah. But it does give younger players chances to practice. Get them extra bowl practice and stuff. But
man. I also heard John that to simulate Milroe. Michigan has been using Alex Orji to simulate Milroe in practice.
I heard.
So that's awesome because he's talented like Milroe too. He pretty much do everything. So that's really good for Michigan to have that be able to practice like that, to have that in-game practice, and be ready for a quarterback like that.
Reminds me of the Michigan basketball team where, they have the scouting team and they have that big guy and they fill him in for the role that the guy that they're going to be playing, By the way, Michigan was playing Florida tonight. I have one device. I don't know the score. So anyone can tell me the score of that. Let me know. But yeah. Orgy is amazing. Sure. Can he pass the ball is the only question. We haven't even tried to do that with him.
Did he in the spring game pass the ball at all? I'm trying to remember.
I don't think he did. I think it was Tuttle and Warren. Or was that last year? No. Yeah, I can't remember who actually played. Did JJ play in the spring game this year?
Well, here's the thing I noticed all year is Michigan hasn't really shown a lot. Is that correct? What I'm saying? They haven't really shown a lot of plays this year. They pretty much handled everybody, including Penn State and Ohio State, and they haven't really shown much. They showed one trick play against Ohio State. That was it. So I'm thinking Michigan has a lot of plays that people don't know about that they're going to be using in this game.
You're right. Part of that might be because of what we reported on earlier about JJ's injuries and the fact that he's feeling 100%, but he was not feeling 100% during during that final stretch of the year, during the regular season.
Good, so that's good news. Because we're going to need him at 100% to beat Bama. So
I'm old school. I like my quarterback in the pocket. I like him being protected by the offensive line that we have. I understand that he's a great runner. We need to do that, but it can't be every down with him. We have to keep him safe because the next guy is Jack Tuttle, right? So.
Yeah. Good old Jack Tuttle.
I don't know about Jack Tuttle, man. I don't know. He looked good at times, and at other times, it's like you scratch your head. So
yeah,
there's no consistency with Tuttle. He's either good or he's either decent or he's not that good. So it's like I don't know.
Can he be a Cade McNamara type? That is his ceiling.
Probably. I mean, Cade was really good at his checkdowns, handing the ball off. If Jack Tuttle can do that, we can game plan around any limitations because that's what we've been doing anyway. Like just 7 linemen and just pound the rock and try to stop it.
Yeah, Cade is a checkdown king, man, for sure. He's a checkdown king.
What do you guys think about Alabama hiring George Hilo, the linebacker coach that we replaced? Well, we kind of opted him out for Partridge, and now he's gone. And George Hilo is now at Alabama.
Do you want to go first, John, or you want me to?
Go ahead, Moose. I'll make the banner.
I can tell you what
Bama fans will tell you otherwise because apparently he used to be a coach at Bama, which is fine. But I think it's personally, I think it's a bad look on Saban because it's right. You're right before the college football playoffs. You're playing Michigan, and you hire a former Michigan linebackers coach, and when they hired him, they didn't mention what he was hired for. It just says undisclosed. So to me, that's a tell sign. Like he hired him on purpose to get dirt out of Michigan. That's what I think.
Absolutely, he did. Yeah, it's an edge up for them. It's an advantage, and that's smart on Nick Saban's part.
But it's legal. Yeah, it's legal though. That's the thing. It's not illegal apparently. So
it is totally legal, and Nick Saban's been known for pulling stuff like this in the past, hiring old coaches that know things. Now, how much he knows about the current system, I think he'll know a little bit more than Cade did when Cade said, "I'm going to tell Iowa everything that I know about Michigan." I don't think that helped out too much, but Elo.
Yeah. He's just a quarterback. You got a coach now going to another team. That's a different thing.
Well, the issue with Iowa was it didn't matter if they know everything about Michigan. They don't have an offense to compete with us, so that was the issue right there.
Yeah. Sorry, Erica, if you're watching. Yeah.
Yeah, cover your ears, Erica.
Yeah. Well, Junior Colson said it's like they might be a little scared. These are quotes, but you never know. He's got a job. I'm happy for him, is what he said. And that was his former position coach. So, bring it on. That's what Michigan's all about this year. Bring it on. Doubters.
That's the way I feel too. Bring it on. That's going to add more fuel to the fire than hiring a Michigan coach. I'm sure it's going to motivate him.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, from a defensive perspective, especially, I think he's going to be able to give a lot of intel on how Minner runs his defense. Yes, he played against the offense and practices and spring game and things like that. Like he played, his linebackers obviously matched up against the Michigan offense, but I think he'll definitely be giving Saban more of an insight on like how do you potentially stop Jesse Minner's system.
But then again, John, you remember when Marvin Harrison said Michigan was playing schemes that he'd never seen before? So maybe they got schemes that our linebacker coach doesn't know about too. That's very possible.
Yeah, and if Alabama has to change their whole philosophy off one coach that they just hired in 15 practices, then they're in trouble. I don't think it's as big of a deal as people think. He will give insights to Nick Saban, of course, on our team. Which
is why I think Michigan will change some things up in the game. I don't think they're going to keep a lot of their stuff that he knows already. I think they're going to change it up a bit.
Yes, and what you said earlier, where we do some things that nobody sees after the fact that we do it. We have all these different things we've done all season, 2-back sets, running back passes. We can do it all, screens, but we don't ever do it. Most of the time we get a lead and we run the ball.
So Jesse Minner said Coach Saban has probably done this all the time every year. The guy is looking for a place to work. He's worked with Coach Saban before. I wasn't totally surprised by it. Happy for him. But he isn't so sure that it's going to give Alabama that much of an advantage. He says, I've been here now for 27 games of film for our defense, so I don't put a ton of stock in it. I think every week you may call somebody that worked with. I tried to talk with people that work with some of their coaches and just try to figure it out. At the end of the day, what you see on tape is really who they are. You try to figure out how they operate their system. I think it'll be settled on the field by the players more than anything. So that's Jesse Minner giving his take. Settled by the players.
I agree.
More so than hiring this guy.
And Minter's a hell of a defensive coach, so I'm sure he's got some things cooked up for Bama. So,
oh yeah, Scottish. They're going to change things up a bit. I'm seeing some new faces in the chat. We love that. Thank you for joining us. If it's your first time or if it's the first time you're returning after a couple weeks or whatever, we appreciate everybody who stops by Michigan Wolverines Live. Just don't forget to tick that like button and subscribe to Michigan Football, the voice of college football, to get all of your insight and analysis. All right. Any final thoughts from you guys?
You can let somebody else out if you need to, Jeff.
All good. All good. Yeah, there's nobody in queue, but yep. What we usually do is we give everybody a final thought, and where can people find them on the internet? So I'm gonna give you, Dependent Fanatic, the honor of starting out, and any final thoughts that you want to share, and then we definitely want to promote your YouTube channel and everything. So
That's all I do is YouTube. I have, like I said earlier, one device, and I do all my YouTube videos on that one device. I'm a drywaller, so my hours vary all the time. But there are videos over there that you can go watch. I did an Alabama and Michigan preview already, and a Texas and Washington preview. I did my bowl pick'em. I am 5-3 right now.
hey, okay.
Did a video on that. That's not so great, but I am 3-0 in the games that I decided I would have bet. So that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So yeah,
just check how I'm doing on that.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people are doing very well. That Miami of Ohio, that game was unbelievable with the rain, the 12 fumbles in that game. It was unbelievable, but yeah, you can go check me out. Dependent Fanatic. That's all it is. YouTube.
And for the Bama Michigan, any nuggets that you want to share about your analysis to encourage people to head over there?
Yeah, I can say that I think Michigan will be able to run the ball versus Alabama's defense. And, like you said, John, with the 7 linemen, if we have to, we will do that, And and that keeps them from getting to JJ. Once we start getting the ground game going, I think JJ will shine like he always does. He's always efficient, no matter what defense. We played 3 of the top 5 defenses in the last 4 games. Bring it. Bring it on.
Yeah,
and then go ahead, Moose.
I think if Auburn could run for 300 yards on Bama, I think we'll be okay.
Right. Yeah, and then Michigan's defense is the other of them top 4 defenses. and we Sainer still, like everyone said earlier, is amazing. Rod Moore. Will Johnson hopefully is coming back. Did you see that? Who is it?
I heard he's coming back.
But the other guy that could have came in with him from USC, Damari Jackson.
Damari Jackson, yeah.
Yes, he's on the market again. Come on, come back. You should have went
Apparently
to
Michigan versus Alabama on that too. So
and of course it is. And I've done other videos like my philosophy on recruiting as well. Nice. So you can go check that out.
Tim is also giving you his endorsement. We got Tim in the chat.
Tim Prant. Yes, man, I love him. I'm always checking out his shows.
You've got the official Prengley endorsement. So there you go. Yep. Fight on. There you go. Well, Dependent Fanatic, I hope we get to send some people to your.
I try to send as many over here as I can on my channel. In the Texas Watch video at the end, I said, "Hey, Mark's the professional. John's great. Tim's great. They're all great over there. Go check it out." The only thing that I don't have is merchandise because I don't have a credit card. So I.
We'll get there. Yeah, you got to have your goals in life. So because they say the money's in the merch.
Merchandise is what I'm saying. Yeah. Mark's merchandise.
I got a bank card. I stay away from credit cards, man. I don't mess with credit cards.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I thought you said the Dependent Fanatic merchandise because that'll be.
No. Mark's merchandise, the voice of college football. Go buy some stuff over there, man. Buy one for me. Get me Give me a koozie.
Yes, Scottish. Dependent Fanatic is the channel name. So you can definitely check him out. I'll post the link one more time here. So definitely, if you haven't subbed, go ahead and sub. Great channel with good insights on Michigan football and other things. Because you also talk about Washington, Texas, and and other
mostly
things.
the channel is about Michigan athletics in general. Basketball, hockey, women's gymnastics is doing good. I'll talk about it. I love the University of Michigan, so that's what I do. And the channel, like I said, my day job is variable. You can hit the bell for notifications. You got to do that because I never know when my videos are going to be posted. So, and it's Dependent Fanatic because you got to wait for stories. You got to wait for stories or be really into a topic before you post a video. At least for me, anyway. So,
wow. So we now know the origin of the name. I always kind of wondered. So there you go. Well, Dependent, we appreciate you, and thanks for always contributing and always, being in there and supporting us because it means a lot.
Thank you, John. I really appreciate it. You are awesome, by the way.
Thank you.
And Moose. Moose,
you leaders and best.
God damn, Moose, you're here every time. Even when I miss things, you're here. Great.
Yeah. Good to finally talk to you, Dependent Fanatic. You guys start getting on more on the panel.
Well, I will try. That is for certain. This is a lot of fun.
All right, buddy.
Well, we appreciate you. All right. Good night. Go Blue.
Go Blue.
All righty. That was awesome. And of course, Moose will also give you final thought. Where can people find you? Let the people know.
I'm mostly on YouTube, but I do have a Twix account if you want to post it. I do mostly Michigan recruiting on there, and sometimes I talk a little junk, but it's all good. But
go.
John, there's a lot of good ball games coming up, so I'm excited to see some of these games.
Yeah, and I'm ready to start getting into the teams that I actually can recognize. I'm very excited about that. No more Old Dominion.
I'm getting antsy about the game, man. I want to get here. I've been waiting too long for it. So,
absolutely. Well, yep. So there's your link. So we do encourage people, especially if you're into recruiting. If you're into recruiting, then Moose provides some valuable insights because there are very few people, that I know that are as plugged in terms of just, like researching everything and like being on top of everything that's going on with recruiting. So definitely check out the Moose Twix account.
Yeah, and I appreciate that, John. And I want to say about Bama. We know Saban's a GOAT. He's the greatest coach of all time. Mm-hmm. We know about Bama's history. We know they won 6, 7 national championships. We get it. We get the aura there. I mean, Michigan fans get it. We know what we're up against. But for some of these people to say that Michigan has absolutely no chance, that's just simply asinine. I don't get that. If you watch Michigan all year, you know damn well they have a good chance in that game. Will they win? We don't know. I mean, we'll see. I know it's going to be a really good game. That I do know. I think it's going to be very close. But I still have Michigan winning. I changed my score, though. I said 27-24, so that's going to be my prediction.
Okay. Well, I'll stick with the 24-21. I like that. I like that. But I think regardless whether you're a Bama fan or a Michigan fan, if you're being reasonable,
right.
Then because we had everybody on the Alabama panel, they picked Alabama, but by 3 points or 4 points.
The thing that irritates me, John, is that nobody outside of Michigan is picking Michigan to win this game. And I know they're the favorites, the line favorites, but if you ask anyone outside, they're picking Bama, and it's not going to be close, man. They're going to get blown out. Okay, we'll see. But that's all I got, John. I hope you have a good night. Go Blue, and hopefully we can win an Natty this year.
Absolutely. And if I don't see you on a show beforehand, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you, buddy.
All right. That was fun. On a day where, let's face it, content not super heavy. Let's just be honest. But we had some great chats there with Dependent Fanatic and Moose, who are very often in the chat and helping support Voice of College Football in various ways. Like Dependent Fanatic just said, if I don't talk to y'all or have a show, I don't think I will. The next, Mark Rogers, Voice of College Football, is doing a show on Christmas for the Big Ten show, but I will not be on it. But you could still, there will be content, obviously, the next couple of days, and including coming up next at 10:15 p.m. Eastern. It's always like a slightly different. It's either 10 or 10:05 or 10:15. They always change. They always keep me on my toes, so I can't just make a banner and leave it alone. I got to switch it up a little, so that I'm staying on top of the time. But tonight it's going to be at 10:15 p.m. Eastern. So please support the Oregon Ducks and the Oregon channel. Please let them know that John sent you, and that the Michigan channel sent you, just so that they know and everybody knows that we're supporting each other here at the Voice of College Football Network, as we try to do. Thank you for that. Final comments here from everybody. JR, Michigan can win, but yes, I think you're right. If there is a blowout, it'll be Bama. I just don't see that happening. Alabama struggled. Alabama almost lost to Auburn, if not for just an absolutely redonkulous pass by Milroe at the end. Auburn wins that game, an Auburn team that did lose to New Mexico State. So Bama is a very good Nick Saban coach team, and Michigan must treat them as such. But Michigan's got a shot. Absolutely. Absolutely. And if it sounds like Will Johnson's back. It sounds like JJ's back to 100%. This is going to be a game. And the only thing that sucks is having to wait another 2 weeks. But we're starting to get into the period where there's some bowl games where we actually can recognize the teams, and we can follow through. Yeah, Judy and Smith are not walking through that door for Bama. And they were on the team when we faced them the last time. And so was Mac and Cheese. Remember Mac and Cheese? Mac Jones, who his nickname at the Patriots is Mac and Cheese. He was the quarterback. We had Jerry Jeudy. We had Smith. We had Najee Harris, I believe, was on that team as well. It was a stacked team, and Michigan had to face them. And Michigan was nowhere near the team that it is now. So Alabama's not as good as it was, and Michigan's better than it was, and I think it's going to lead to a much better matchup at the granddaddy of them all, as Jackson Johnson likes to say, the granddaddy of them all, the Rose Bowl. Dependent Fanatic, thank you. Go Blue. Moose as well. Go Blue. Merry Christmas. Really appreciate all of the comments and stuff. In case Joey is around, Big 12 Fan Zone, Thursdays at 7 p.m. Eastern on Big 12 and the main channel, Joey Foster, to talk all things Big 12. Ticket Smarter for your tickets. Go to ticketsmarter.com. BIG and BIG20 is the promo codes for that. It's Christmas, so don't forget about our new merch, the Voice of College Football merch store. Amazon link, check that in every video so Mark Rogers can get a couple of bucks, and so on and so forth. Coming up next, like I said, is Oregon Ducks live, which is going to be tonight at 10:15 p.m. So go over there, tell them John sent you. Oregon loads up at QB. That's right, folks. Right. Post the link one more time here. There it is. So go on over, hit the like button for them and support them, just like we try to have that reciprocality here at the Voice of College Football. All right. I think that does it. We did the full hour. I didn't think we would, but we did. So thank you for those of you who tuned in. Thank you for hitting the like button. Thank you for being here. And thank you for being a friend. Appreciate that. We will see you around, and I'll be in chat for the Oregon show. So see you there. And until next time, John Diadamo saying, go blue.